GRINDSET, inside the mind of successful entrepreneurs with your host, Cynthia Daniels and William Sprague.
Welcome back to another episode of GRINDSET. I'm your host, Cynthia Daniels, Chief Event Strategist of Cynthia Daniels & Company.
And this is William Sprague, your favorite banker.
And today we have a duo on our show. We have Dr. April Wilson and Tia Jones. They are co-owners of Loving Arms, LLC, which is a home care agency located in Jackson and Memphis, Tennessee.
And I'm looking forward to hearing about this business because they're in the baby boomer business, the aging in place business. And that's 70,000 people turn 65 a week.
Wow.
280,000 a month. So business should be really good. And I'm looking forward to hearing about this model and how they've been able to be successful. You're listening to GRINDSET, and we'll be right back with Dr. April Wilson and Tia Jones, co-owners of Loving Arms, LLC.
GRINDSET on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Inside 901.
Inside 901. I am your host, Lieutenant Anthony Buckner. Here on Inside 901, we will unpack the vision of Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner and the various divisions of the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
We have a racial profiling policy at the Sheriff's Office. We adhere to it. We expect our officers to adhere to it.
Uniform patrols that provide police services to unincorporated Shelby County.
Inside 901.
KUDZUKIAN!
We have Dr. April Wilson and Tia Jones, co-owners of Loving Arms, LLC, in the building. Welcome to GRINDSET, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Glad to have y'all.
Yes,
Definitely glad to be here.
Yes. And we're super excited because this is a field I think a lot of us know about, but we don't really see a demographic in this space. So we're excited to find out a little bit about your journey and how you got started. All right. So just tell me, how did you guys even meet? And what was the motivation to create a business together?
Okay. So actually, me and April are both from Kentucky. And we met through college. She went to Kentucky State University. I went to Eastern Kentucky University. And we met through the greatest sorority in the world, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Hello, I can co-sign that.
Shout out to the Deltas.
Shout out.
So we met through Delta. And actually, while we were in school, April had called me one day. And she was like, I'm thinking about going to Memphis after I graduate. I said, oh, okay. She said, you should move too, because she knew I had family that lived here.
Okay.
And I said, well, if you move, I'm going to move. Yeah, I was not planning on moving. I was literally, honestly, I was just talking.
Right.
So that was like the end of that conversation, but it actually happened.
Wow. And what year did you move here?
We actually both moved in 2006.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 2006, I felt led to move to Memphis. I started praying, and this is Dr. April Wilson. I started praying and just seeking God for direction and what was next after receiving my master's degree. And so I started applying for different jobs and nothing was coming through. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have this work experience. Okay. I have these degrees, but unfortunately I am not gaining employment. So at that point, I made the decision to step out on faith, and I trusted God. I felt that He had equipped me for the next part of life.
Okay.
So in 2006, I moved to Memphis, and shortly after, maybe 2 months, Tia's job that she was working transferred her to Memphis.
You're kidding.
Look at God. Yeah, I know, right?
Not your plan.
Right,
Not her plan.
Right. And then just for our listeners, Dr. Wilson, what were your degrees in? Because I think a lot of people find they can't really find employment in their field.
So my bachelor's degree is in social work.
Okay.
And my master's is in public administration, specializing in human resources.
Wow. Okay.
And your PhD is in?
It is in Christian counseling.
Because you did earn that.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So you both get to Memphis.
Yeah.
And
she actually moved in August of 2006.
Right.
I moved in October of 2006.
Right. But you're both here in 2006. So you're both working in different sectors.
Yes.
What was that moment for you all to say, wait a minute, I don't like my day-to-day job. I'm ready to do something different. What was that conversation like?
It took a while actually for us to get there.
Okay.
I was kind of in the routine of my job. I was a store manager at a retail store.
Okay.
Out of college, not really working in my field at all, but making good money for my age. So I knew I did not want to be there forever, but I didn't know what I was going to do next.
Okay. How about you, Dr. Wilson?
And for me, I want to go back to just when I was working on my master's degree, I was working for a company similar to ours, the one that we have now.
Okay.
So I began to climb the ladder there, and I began to learn, and I began to see other people in seats that I felt like I'm qualified to be in, to tell you the truth.
And I think that happens to a lot of people too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I began to see that, and I felt if I can work this hard for someone else, and Tia she was a hard worker too. I seen that in her.
Yeah.
And so the work qualities and ethics that we had, we put our mind together and felt like we could do this.
We actually said that to each other all the time. If we could work this hard for somebody else, we know we can work this hard for ourselves. Like regularly, we would say that in conversation.
I love that.
So at what point did you two start having conversations about loving arms, right? The ideation stage.
Right.
It would be in 2008. In 2008, we began to do our research. We began to just try to find ways to start a home care agency. We thought about franchising. We just began to look at the idea of becoming entrepreneurs.
So the GRINDSET idea phase started in 2008.
Yes.
So let me rewind just a little bit. April came to me and said, Tia, I think we can do this. I said, what we gonna do?
She's the one with the crazy idea.
Yeah, she said, I think we can do this. And I was like, what we gonna do? And she was like, what I used to do in school. I was, okay, what we gonna do? We gonna have a home care agency. I said, I've never done that before.
Right.
I am numbers. I am sales. I am how to get this product out of the door. And she was like, we can do it. I was like, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah. And so then I said, well, Tia, guess what? We're going to find an agency here, and you're going to go work in a home, and you're going to start at the bottom, because one day when we get to the top, we will always be we will be able to understand what it's felt like being at the bottom.
That's a major key.
So,
That is a major gain experience.
gain experience.
So what does that experience entail anyway? Can we get
So-
into the real
Yes,
details?
let's
of
We
it?
go.
can, because it was a struggle for me for a little while.
So GRINDSET likes to hear all of the details.
I
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah.
I was grinding.
So y'all, let me just tell y'all, the first day that Tia started working in home care, she goes to a home, and it's an elderly person. And the first time that she had to change an adult depend, I'm going to keep it there for the sake, she literally gagged.
Oh,
she was like,
no.
April, you're tripping. I don't know about this.
Gagging ain't throwing up though, so good.
Yeah, exactly. So she held it in. But
The first person that I had to take care of was a total care person.
Yes.
So total care is they cannot do anything for themselves. They cannot. You have to feed them, bathe them, turn them over, get them in and out of the chair, in and out of the bed, in and out of the shower, everything.
So you're pretty strong right now.
You know what I'm saying? I got little muscles.
yeah,
So I was not used to that at all. I have always helped elderly, my grandmother, great-grandmother, growing up. I've done the leave school and do medication reminders and all of that. But to actually have to physically take care of somebody, it is a totally different world. And people truly don't understand what it means to be a caregiver until you actually do the work.
What year was that?
That was in 2008.
yes, that
Okay,
was
so
2008.
2008, you had the initial conversation.
Yes.
In 2008, Dr. Wilson, you convinced Tia to
Yes.
go into the home health from a good paying job at Express as a manager to a home health care at the very stage.
I did it for
Depends.
6 months.
Wow.
The first 2 weeks, I didn't think I was going to make it. I did not think I was going to be able to do it. And, you know, we had conversations every day. She
Wow.
was definitely my motivator.
Yeah.
You can do it. Just keep trying. It'll get better. And it did. After those 2 weeks, it really got easier. And the person that I care for, I mean, it was nothing like it. It was nothing. I would have done literally anything for her.
So experience matters on GRINDSET.
does.
It does.
That is a major, major, major key alert. And so we're going to talk about how you get from 2008, from your first patient, to 2012 when you first started the business. And so I want to ask questions about how you funded startup and your first 12 months in business. You've been listening to GRINDSET. We'll be right back after the break.
3.
The power of sisterhood is very important. So check on your strong friend, call your sister friend.
B.
That's what I love about sisterhood. Like, there is no airs. I don't have to put on for you all.
C.
Wherever I am, that's where you all are. So I constantly have pictures. I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm sending stuff. I'm trying to keep connected.
3 Black Chicks on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.
We're back with Dr. April Wilson and Tia Jones, co-owners of Loving Arms LLC. They basically told us about their move from Kentucky to Memphis and knowing that it was time for them to start a business, that Dr. Wilson had that vision of we could be making this money for ourselves.
That's right.
So I would love to know, tell me a little bit about the first 12 months of your business. You know, in the previous segment, you mentioned you consider franchising, but you decided to go a different route. So I'd love to hear kind of how that came about.
So in 2010, Tia and I began to start really doing our research and trying to find ways to train ourselves and better equip ourselves so when we was ready to open the business. So we agreed to bring $10,000 to the table.
Okay.
So we did 2 years of saving, just putting money in an account.
Wow.
Because we wanted to kind of be prepared.
That's a major key alert.
Well, and let me say
money.
this. We had savings, but we really focused on savings those last 2 years that we were like, this is what we're going to do.
And most importantly, you had accountability between each other.
Yes.
Perfect.
And so we agreed to, as she was saying, we had our own personal savings, but we started saving for the business. And so we made sure that we didn't do any extra spending. We like to shop, we like to dress, we like to do all that, get our hair done, but we made sure in that time frame that we were not doing extra. We just did the very bare minimum.
Was that $10,000 each or $10,000 total?
Each.
Praise God.
I wish I could see your face. I think you should see the excitement right now.
So you started the business with $20,000.
Well, let me go back to just 1 second. Before we started the business, as we were saving, we did go to Atlanta to learn about home care. It was one of the investments that we wanted to do as well. So when we went there, we made sure that we were prepared as far as the spending and making sure that the hotel that we stayed at had breakfast available. So we didn't have to do any extra spending when it came to spending for food.
That's smart.
And we also, and I love to tell this part, we packed brown paper bag, sandwiches, and chips, and we took it with us to Atlanta because we had a vision that we knew would come to pass. And so we didn't spend anything extra. So when I tell you we saved and we began to invest in ourselves, that's what we did.
Say that, invest in yourselves. Can you say that again?
Yes.
Turkey sandwich and potato chips. Yes.
Oh, wow. Yes. That's dedication. I love it.
So that's in 2012.
10. That was in 10.
That's in 2010. And then in 2012,
yes,
the business started.
Yes.
So you started with $20,000?
We started with some savings.
You started with some savings.
Yes.
And what did those savings get you in the first 12 months of business?
So when we first started, we had we got an office, which was a blessing. Actually, the office we had, a doctor previously was in that building.
And was that in Memphis?
That was in Jackson. So we actually started in Jackson, Tennessee, where our main headquarters is currently still today. We do have an office in Memphis as well. But when we moved into our first office, it had a reception area and three office and a bathroom.
Okay.
It was previously a doctor's office, and we went to the owners and we said, we cannot afford to pay what you guys are asking.
Wow.
But we really want this building. We really have a dream. We have a vision, but we really want this building. And they talked, and they came back maybe about 10 minutes later, like not long at all. And we paid 3 times less in rent.
You're kidding.
Yes.
What the doctor was paying.
Wow.
3 times
On
less.
GRINDSET, you have to learn to always negotiate.
Yes. You have to negotiate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then with starting our business, one of the reasons that we wanted to make sure that we had money saved and cushioned, because with the state of Tennessee, whenever you're contracted, you do not get paid when you do the service. So sometimes it is 3 months behind, 2 months behind. So you have to make sure that you have enough resources in order to pay staff, to pay, like she said, the rent.
Yeah.
So that was the purpose of us making sure to save.
And then after 180 days, they don't pay you at all. Is that correct?
No, that is not
No.
correct. We could not still be in business if that was the case.
Well, I think we've talked to a lot of doctors and other healthcare, so we So it's a little different then.
Yeah,
so
it's
ours
different.
our billing is a lot different from
Yeah.
that. So
Okay.
our billing time is kind of like 30 days out.
Yeah.
So we perform the services, then you bill for it, then you get paid for it. So it's about 30 days behind.
So you get paid in 30 days, but your employees want to get paid
On time.
weekly or
Every
every
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
On
Yes.
time, bi-weekly.
So how are you managing that cash flow difference of your work being paid 30 days, but your employees want to get paid in 2 weeks?
Well, in the beginning, it was kind of hard, but that, as to what April said, we had to save, and that was a part of the reason for saving. You have to account for all of those things: your rent, your phone, your internet, your paper that you're going to need for copying, the copy machine if you don't have one, your printer, going somewhere to copy. So all of those little things count in your
money,
budget.
huh?
Everything.
Huh.
Like, I didn't think we would have to buy so many pens. Like, that trips me out when we order pen. I'm like, why are we buying so many pens?
Yes.
And Post-it notes, too. But I'll get off that.
So for me, I love that you all saved, that you had the funding to get the perfect office space. I'm curious to know, I've been calling you all the co-owners, right?
Yes.
But each of you have your own distinct titles within the company. How did you all come to that decision of, I'm going to be in this role, these are my strengths, and this is what how we're going to operate? How did that conversation go?
Well, that conversation came because with the state of Tennessee, when you are applying for this type of company, you have to have experience. In order to operate in an executive director role, then the experience has to line up with it.
Okay.
And so because of my previous employment, I was able to have that, fill that position for us. So that's how we really went about selecting who would be the executive director and then the director of operations.
Okay.
But it also played to our strengths as well.
Okay.
In our roles.
So what role did being in the same sorority have in these conversations? Was it less friction? It was just natural because you two already knew each other? Or was there some debate about who was doing what at all?
No, it was really no debate. I think that we know each other's strengths. We know where we both are stronger at. I'm a public, I speak publicly. I do different things like that. So, of course, sometimes I'm seen kind of more as the face because of those things. Tia does numbers. She came from doing numbers. She was, from her role. So it just made sense to set it up like the CEO and CFO, executive director, director of operations.
Yeah.
So here on GRINDSET, we just heard the origin story of Loving Arms, LLC. And when we get back after the break, we're going to talk about where the business is today and where the business is going in the future. You've been listening to GRINDSET, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network, and we'll be right back. Hey, I'm Williams Brack, co-host of GRINDSET. The insight you gain from us and our guests will motivate you to take the leap into entrepreneurship. Make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast provider.
GRINDSET on the KUDZUKIAN Network. GRINDSET on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Welcome back to GRINDSET. We're here with Tia Jones and Dr. April Wilson of Loving Arms, LLC. And we just heard their origin story, but now we're curious of how you go from founding the business with just you two to over 275 employees. Which one do you want to take that?
I'll take it. This is Dr. April Wilson. And I would like to say that when we first started, Tia and I did everything for the business. And as we began to grow, it was a little harder for me than Tia to let go of some things.
Right.
So when it's your baby, it's just like anything in the natural. You want to make sure that it's going to walk, it's going to be fed, it's going to grow, and it's going to be able to stand eventually. So for a while, we have been very, very hands-on with our business. But once we begin to grow and expand, we knew that we had to get people in position. And so we have definitely started to do that and delegate the responsibility, which is a big word for me, delegate the responsibility to others and trust them to take the vision that God gave us and to really run with it and to apply it to.
Yeah.
Since that's a big word for you, we're going to call that a major key. Learn how to delegate.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you do have to, because at some point, it all gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
When you are HR, when you're doing payroll, when you're doing the visits to the home, when you're getting
When you're the
medications for the
staff.
clients, when you're also the staff, and when you're also trying to work a full-time job on top of starting a business, it is a lot.
when you're answering the phones. I remember Tia and I, we had a cordless phone when we first started, and we shared it. Literally,
wow.
like, okay, you get the call. And it was so amazing now to be able to just see how God has blessed our business to have 2 locations and to have over 30 office employees.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible.
What I would love to know in your journey of being business owners, what were some of the bigger sacrifices you made to grow? And then, how did it affect your personal relationships?
That's a great question.
Great question.
I'm going to start because when me and April were deciding to start the business, we both decided that one of us was going to have to quit our job first.
Okay.
And neither one of us wanted to quit our job. So we had set a date that we were going to quit our job by.
Okay.
And it was July 1st. And we still hadn't made a decision. It was June. And the crazy thing is, I got laid off my job June 28th.
No way.
Yes.
I promise. I got chills just saying it again.
Wow.
I got laid off my job on June 28th. And I called her and said, well, we don't have to make a decision because I don't have a job.
Better that than
And
a
I was
coin
like,
flip.
yes. I don't want to give up counseling yet.
That's hilarious.
That's incredible. Wow. And then in terms of your family and friends, did you have to sacrifice time you spent with them in that first 12 months and getting the business going?
Yes. We literally worked because during that time, I was doing the business full time and April was still working full time, but she would get off work at 5 o'clock. I would be there working and we would stay at work until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I would be driving back to Memphis, or I would stay at her house. Whatever we had to do to get it done, we just did it.
Ownership is not a 9 to 5.
No,
It's not a
it's
9 to
not.
5. If
It's
that's
not.
what you think, you definitely have it twisted. Grind set.
Yeah.
Right. It is grinding.
Even to
Grinding.
this day,
Right.
when it has to get done, we still get it done.
I love it. And what drives you guys now? Why do you stay motivated to keep going and growing?
I would like to say for me, it's the passion. It's the passion that I've had since I started back in 2001 during my college years. I always give this quote, and it's by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and it's something that I stand on. And it says, if you do not know your purpose, then find your passion, because your passion will lead you to your purpose. I believe we're walking in our purpose now, but it's because of our passion. Our passion is what got us here. It's the passion that keeps us here, and it's going to be the passion 10 years from now that we'll still be standing on.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the passion.
I think for me, it's because I know, along with what April said, but people truly depend on us. It's not just about us. It's not about us owning a business and, being off and taking a vacation. We have people who we support.
Right.
We have people that we are the only family that they have.
Yes.
And then we also have people who work in our office and in the field every single day, and they depend on us being successful to help them be successful.
Now, there's an explosion of in-home healthcare companies out there, and they're popping up every single day.
Yes.
Why do people keep calling Loving Arms instead of going to some other rinky-dink company out there?
Yeah, and I think people call Loving Arms is because we truly care. Our slogan is your care, our passion. And sometimes people, honestly, most people get in business because you want to make money.
Right.
Let's be real. You
Right.
want to make money. But if you do not care about people, they know. When you have someone that's nonverbal and they're going into behavior mode, they know the person that walk in the room that cares about them. They sense it. They can feel it. And so I feel like when we're interviewing with families and we're at the table and we're discussing what Loving Arms can bring to them and what we can do different, they see it through our conversation. They see it through the passion that we display, that we truly care.
One of the things that we made sure we did is not call the people that we support clients. We call them members because they're an extension of our family. So we want to make sure that they feel that way as well.
I love that. And so one thing I would love to share with our listeners, think about, women that have these degrees, they're working jobs in these cubicles, and they're scared to follow their passion because they love that paycheck that comes every 2 weeks, right? So if you all would share the best advice you've ever gotten, just one piece of advice maybe for that woman that's out there listening, or just something that keeps you going day to day.
Something that I always tell people is don't quit. It is so easy to get discouraged, to give up. It seems like it's not going to happen. You just cannot quit. You have to keep going. when you feel like everything is against you, when you feel like you don't have the support, when you feel like the money's not coming in, everybody's going to get their turn. Everybody's going to get their opportunity. You just cannot quit.
I love that.
And of course, I would definitely go into understanding that whatever you desire and you want, you have to go get it. You have to be the person that initiates. No one's going to drop things in your lap too often in life. If it's something that if a dream, a vision you have to be the one to put it into place. And so it's very important to write the vision, make it plain. You know, that is so key. And I think so many times we get afraid. We allow fear to come in, but you got to stand on faith to believe in yourself.
So to conclude, there's 2 questions. One, I don't think we even asked what all services Loving Arms provide. And then 2, where can people who are looking for your services find you? So contact, email, social media, website.
Okay. The service that we provide is supportive living. Now, supportive living is a 24-hour service that we provide. We also provide community living supports, which is the same setup. We're contracted with the state of Tennessee through the Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, as well as the Choices Program.
Okay.
We're contracted with the 3 MCOs, which are the Managed Care Organization, which is Amera Group, Blue Care, and United Healthcare. We also provide ECF services, which is Employment Community First. It's the new initiative by the state of Tennessee that we are trying to get the people that we support employed. We also provide personal assistance, which is a PA service where we'll come to your home. If your loved one is there and they're aging, a lot of people want to age at home.
Sure.
So instead of doing the nursing home setting or those different things, we will provide caregivers to come to your home to assist with activities of daily living, which is the cooking, cleaning, bathing, personal care.
Okay.
And you can find us at www.lovingarmsllc.com. If you're in the Memphis area, you can call 901-692-7948. If you're in the Jackson area, you can reach us at 731-512-1173.
Any websites or social media or anything you use?
No, we don't.
And that's fine. We got the phone numbers. We can use that. And we want to thank you two for coming in and sharing your origin story and talking about your business. There are a lot of people who are aging every single year.
Yes.
So what you two do with care is extremely important.
Thank you.
Yeah, very motivating.
We love it.
You've been listening to GRINDSET, and we'll be right back after the break.
Well, no, you had the Buffalo game, but understand New York and upstate New York, they are not moderates by any measure.
They may
Am I not right?
They may not be, but guess what? Even conservatives get sick, and I think everyone realized that if healthcare was going to be threatened, they were going to be in bad shape.
That is not how they looked at it.
These heroes that you're talking about just responded to their constituency. The system worked. I think that's what happened. Funking up your airwaves and jamming the good information in your ear. Once again, it's Funky Politics.
Funky Politics.
Funky Politics.
On the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Welcome back to GRINDSET. We just finished sitting down with Dr. April Wilson and Tia Jones, co-owners of Loving Arms, LLC. And hopefully you learned about the in-home health business and really got great motivation from their origin story. For me, they left a lot of major keys that reaffirmed what we'd heard on prior episodes. And the first one is, get experience. The banker in me says that if you're starting a business, it's highly, highly recommended that you have experience in the business that you're starting. Number 2, save some money. Collateral is important. And before you start and while you're still in the business, continue to educate yourself. Continue to invest in self. And as you learned from their rent story, everything is negotiable. And as your business is growing, it's doing as well as you projected, learn how to delegate to continue that growth. Holding on to everything will restrict the amount of growth that you can have in your business. And ownership is not a 9-to-5 business. Sometimes you stay up to midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we've heard that again and again on GRINDSET. And most importantly, once you start in business, don't quit.
I love that. And for me, my woman power quote from this episode, I thought, why not pick a prominent Delta member. And it goes like this. Progress comes from caring more about what needs to be done than about who gets the credit. And I just feel that it's very symbolic of Tia and Dr. Wilson's story of learning the business, Tia being very humbled and having to work in home care and being able to build something together. So it's not about who gets the credit, but that progress came from both of them being passionate about this field. And
their work didn't come overnight.
Right.
And they really focus on their customers. So that's a great quote. You've been listening to GRINDSET, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network, and we'll see you next episode.
GRINDSET. Executive producer, Epicenter. GRINDSET is directed, produced, and distributed by KUDZUKIAN.